Look at this. The blossom is completely dried out. You just touch it, and it drops. And if we look at these stunted peppers, they've been stuck at this exact same size for days, no matter how much time passes. If your garden looks like this right now, let me tell you, you are not alone. It's happening to me, and it's happening to a lot of people. This summer is being absolutely relentless. A lot of YouTube channels will show you the perfect, flawless garden. But the reality is that when the thermometer passes 35 degrees Celsius, plants enter pure survival mode. Today, with no filters, I'm going to show you exactly why your tomatoes are dropping their blossoms, why your peppers aren't growing, and most importantly, the 3 emergency actions I'm deploying today to save the season. Let's get into it. You might be wondering, why on earth are my tomato blossoms drying up? Well, it's not your fault. It's not that you're missing some miracle fertilizer. It's pure physics. Under extreme heat, tomato pollen becomes completely sterile. The flower fails to pollinate, and since the plant realizes the blossom is useless, it dries it up and drops it to save energy. Then we have the peppers. Peppers are the kings of heat, but even they have a limit. Under extreme, scorching sun, the plant actually blocks nutrient absorption through the roots to avoid losing water via evaporation. The peppers stay tiny and get literally baked on the vine. But don't panic, because we can fix this if we act today. Let's look at the optimal conditions. Tomatoes are incredibly happy between 22 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. But when daytime temperatures cross 32 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, and nights stay above 20 degrees Celsius, the pollen becomes sterile and sticky. It physically cannot drop inside the flower to pollinate it. The plant activates a hormone right in this little joint, the abscission zone, and drops the flower to the ground. Peppers can handle a bit more sun, but past 35 degrees Celsius, they enter saturation stress. To avoid dehydration, the pepper plant shuts its stomata, the microscopic pores on its leaves. By closing these pores, photosynthesis and transpiration grind to a halt. And here is the drama. If the plant doesn't transpire, the roots lock up completely and stop absorbing water and nutrients. Knowing this, our first job is to bring the temperature down. In commercial agriculture, when July hits, greenhouses are painted white with lime to reflect the light. In our home gardens, we need to do the exact same thing, reduce the sun's intensity. We can use a shade cloth, an old bedsheet, or whatever solution you have on hand. Ideally, cover them during the peak hours, say, from 12:00 p.m. to 4 o'clock or 5 p.m., and then remove it so they get smoother sunlight for photosynthesis. Doing this reduces the direct temperature on the leaves by 4 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. It might not sound like much, but those few degrees are the magical border between your pollen staying fertile to give you huge fruit, or ending up dead on the floor. Plus, we prevent sunscald on the small peppers, which opens the door to fungal diseases. My second piece of advice. From today onwards, watering happens strictly first thing in the morning. When the soil and the water are cool, we want a deep watering that soaks way down. No shallow watering that evaporates in half an hour. If you absolutely cannot do it in the morning, then fine, do it late at night, as late as possible. And on top of watering, we need to add mulch. Right now, I'm using straw. Look at this thickness, about 5 to 10 centimeters. This acts as a thermal insulator. If you put your hand under this mulch at 3 p.m., the soil feels remarkably cool and damp. Without it, the bare soil becomes a frying pan that literally cooks the delicate feeder roots. A classic mistake people make during a heat wave is this: since the plant looks stressed and isn't absorbing nutrients, people start dumping heavy chemical fertilizers or high nitrogen to make it grow. You will get the exact opposite effect. You will saturate the soil with salts and completely burn the plant. What the plant needs right now are compounds that help it overcome stress. You can apply a light watering with amino acids, a well-diluted worm casting tea, or a gentle dose of organic calcium-potassium to strengthen the cell walls of the fruit. This doesn't force the plant to grow like crazy, instead, it gives it the necessary building blocks so that, as soon as we drop the temperature with the shade cloth, the roots reactivate and start pumping energy into those stalled peppers. How long will this rescue plan take? It's not magic. The peppers will take about 4 to 5 days to kick back into gear, and you'll notice them gaining size again. On the tomatoes, the blossoms that are already brown will fall off, we can't save those. But in about a week, under that shade cloth, you'll see the new top growth opening strong flowers that will set the first tomatoes of the upper section. The garden has its ups and downs, friends. Some weeks everything runs smoothly, and others you have to roll up your sleeves and fight the climate. But if you apply this, I promise you we will save the season, or at least vastly improve it. It's getting hotter every year. I don't know how it is in your area, let me know in the comments, but here it's unbelievable. We are consistently hitting maximums above 35 degrees Celsius every single day. If we don't protect them, we're just going to fry tomatoes. Now, for those of you who made it this far, I want to give you an extra tip on why all of this happens. I'm sure you've gone out to the garden at 2 p.m. and seen your pepper and tomato leaves completely droopy, wilted, looking like they are dying of thirst. You stick your finger in the dirt, you see it's still moist, but the plant looks pathetic. What does most people do? They panic and blast it with a hose full of cold water. This is a critical mistake, and here is the science why. What's happening to the plant at that exact moment is called temporary wilting point. Plants have tiny pores on the underside of their leaves called stomata. Through them, the plant breathes and evaporates water to cool down, just like we sweat. This is the transpiration rate. The problem is, when the air is incredibly dry and we pass 35 degrees Celsius, the speed at which the sun evaporates water from the leaves is much faster than the speed at which the roots can pump water up from the soil. No matter how wet the dirt is, the plant loses internal pressure, and the leaves collapse. It doesn't need water in the soil, it just needs time. If you come in at that critical moment and dump cold water onto scorching hot soil, you cause 3 chemical disasters. First, a thermal shock to the ultra-delicate feeder roots. Second, you saturate the soil, cutting off oxygen, and since the plant has its stomata closed and isn't transpiring, the roots can't breathe, leading to root asphyxiation. Third, you trigger root fungi like Phytophthora, which will rot the base of the stem in 2 days. How do we solve this? Easy, with patience. If the soil is moist, that wilted plant is not dying. As soon as the sun starts to set around 6 o'clock or 7 p.m. and the temperature drops, the transpiration rate slows down. The roots will catch up with the leaves, and you will see the plant magically stand back up on its own without adding a single drop of water. Remember this. Water only first thing in the morning when the soil is cool and the plant is fully charged to handle the day. Letting it ride out the midday slump is what makes it resilient. And if you've made it this far and want to dive deeper into proper watering setups, I'm leaving 2 links right here on the screen. Here is the video on tomato watering, where you'll understand exactly how the plant operates and what to look out for. And over here is the one for peppers, covering the distinct differences and common mistakes compared to tomatoes. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support our work even further, consider hitting the join button to become a channel member. It helps us immensely to keep creating content, and you'll get exclusive perks. Remember, a great garden always starts beneath our feet. So keep your feet on the ground, and I'll see you next time.